Roman Hybler, born in Liberec in the Czech Republic, but has spent a lot of his life living here in Germany.
Yeah, I've been here some time, and again, a very good player and a guy that kind of hit the scene, kind of flying there. I don't know, maybe close to 20 years ago, I guess it was, and played very strong in all the events around the world there for a while, representing the Czech Republic, and then missed him for a couple of years, seemed like, and back on the scene now the last year and a half or so, 2 years.
Yes, as good as Hebler is and can be, he's got a tiger by the tail here. By the way, talking about 20 years, his most significant success, Roman Hybler, was 21 years ago. In this country, he won the German Open on the Euro Tour.
Yeah, wouldn't doubt that's when I kind of first heard his name and then started seeing him at all the world tournaments and many big events in America as well. Tight little 2-ball by the 7 here. Really nice kill stroke, holding the cue ball for the 3. Another thing that not only Chua that adds up so well for what we think is going to be a ton of success and already has been this year with the World Cup title, but he's one of the few that can really unload on the break as well, really smashes them. I wouldn't say maybe hits him as hard as SVB or Kachi, but still, though, it seems like the firm break is the one that's kind of less denied, you might say. Feel? You know, we saw the ones that are in the middle, you know, a little bit more speed than medium, and we see some dry breaks, but the firm break seems to be the one.
And let me tell you, during that World Cup, he did not miss many balls like the 3 we've just seen go astray. Yes, it wasn't easy. I accept that, but he played at such a level in Lugo that kind of pot was almost a given.
A little different as well. I mean, he had that Spanish Open prior to the World Cup to really get, you know, acclimated and, you know, as comfortable as he could. Hard to get shape here. Oh, what a nice shot. This would be really unfortunate. Hard to recognize how good that shot was, avoiding the purple off the second cushion with a little right spin to bring the cue ball back down for position. Don't think he can do anything but level out the cue here and try and knock this pink in. The cue ball could catch the 9, could go up towards the 7 and 8 as well.
Been to the last 16 of a World Championship on 3 occasions as well, Hebler. He knows his way around a table. He's definitely second favourite in this match, of course he is. But Chua will know he has tough opposition. Not just tough, but experienced.
Yeah, and a player that really used to play with more of a high kind of gear, you might say, really knocking balls in, but has changed, and as we all get more of a veteran player, a better cue ball, better decisions. And we talked about it to start the show that when you talk about from one level to the next, it's just really percentage points, so it doesn't take much to level a match out. Looks like he's kind of changed his decision here. Is he going for the cut? Trying to slide the cue ball behind the 7-8. Doesn't want to make the purple. Oh, really nice. And speaking of experience, quickly showing and not even attempting the kick, just going to try and tie up the 7-8 a bit more.
From here, though, he's going to be immediately back in trouble.
Yeah, you would think. I think Roman wants to figure out, or at least have an option to attack, try and keep Johann in his chair till maybe game 2 or 3. Looks like the cross corner bank, if he was to play the 5 and come around and get on the right side of the table off the 6. I think the 7 does bank to the upper right. Now he's gained a nice angle to maybe come 2 cushions into him where he's pointing his cue stick. Played with plenty of angle here, so not too much worry as far as the speed of the cue ball, more about the line. Oh, this looks perfect.
The decision to take the attacking option has worked a treat. You saw there the nickname on the back of his shirt, Check Attack. And he's living up to that nickname here. Had the option to put Chua in a world of hurt. Decided to go for it. And it's paid off. A very nicely played rack by Roman Hybler from the Czech Republic, who draws first blood against the World Cup winner, Johann Chau. On table 13, I can tell you Albin Auschen is in front in his second round match against Panagiotis Sipoliatis. 3-2 the scoreline there. Hunter Lombardo doubling up on Pier Francesco Garcia at 6-3. Still 5-1 Daniel Massiol over Pierre Filler. Omar Al-Shaheen has beaten Mats Shetner 9-5. Matthias Sligotsky on the hill against Marcel Price at 8-3. Naoki Oi has come through a tough battle with Alex Montpellier, the court jester from Japan, winning 9-6. Luong Dok Tien and Petri Makinen 2-2. Ian Pikignac 5-1 up on Francesco Candela of Italy. And Moritz Neuhausen 6-5 up on fellow German Ricardo Gudja.
Yeah, what looked to be a perfect break off here. Didn't make the one on the side, but the connection I thought was really good. Now the 2 has gotten just in that awkward spot. Doesn't really cut in the side, I don't believe anyways. And of course the 7 and the scratch possibility has gotten him cut off for the 2 in the upper corner. Now if the bank goes cross corner, I don't know if the angle's there to bank at it and draw the cue ball back for the 3. It's pretty difficult.
Just saw a glimpse there of James Arenas, Johann Chau's World Cup partner, watching on. He's in action a little later on against Mickey Kraus of Denmark.
Yeah, so definitely nothing easy for the World Cup reigning champions here in round 2 at the European Open. I'll tell you though, if there's any 2 countrymen that are used to nothing easy, that's these Filipino players, always battling with so many greats back home in the Manila area. So much going on, so many events and matches and whatnot. Don't see this very often. Cue ball, no awkward cueing. The 2 ball open, and we're going to see a push out here. Trying to tie up the 3 and 4 somewhat.
It's a rule of thumb that you don't want to get involved in a strategic battle with a Filipino. Yes, we know that Chua is very much a potter, a shot maker, but when it comes to the tactical acumen, he's got plenty.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just kind of in the blood, it seems. Look at this shot, though. What a nice one here. Really good with the cue ball, and he's made this kick very difficult. May have to either jack up and swerve the ball. I think everything's cut off here. We saw him last time he was snookered in game one. He just surrendered ball in hand, trying to make the 7-8 as difficult as possible. And I'll tell you, he would do the same here, but there's nothing really to tie up or make anything any more difficult. Real nice shot here from Roman. May zigzag this, and if he does, I suspect more of the lighter side. He's looking to get past the 8, maybe draw into the 2. Another hard proposition. And I say draw because he's going to bend the cue ball. Another one, he needs a lot of bend, so he can't hit it too hard here. What a hit.
It was as though the ball floated magically towards its target.
Yeah, watch it bend just a little short of the 9. Yeah, right there, and as it came across the spot.
The trajectory of that cue ball reminded me of the latest pitch sweeping baseball, the sweeper.
Yeah, I watched a lot of those tickers, and I've been seeing that, the sweeper. Of course, they've kind of renamed some pitches through the years, just gotten a little more defined with them, I guess is an easy way to call it.
Yeah, always new terminology. My personal favorite is the slurve. The slider and the curve combined.
Now Roman, of course, very much a veteran and very much a professional. He's got to not get too beat up about the trick shot we saw from Johann Chau here just moments ago, and what looks like it's going to tie our score. Okay, he decided to play, of course, a little further away, trying to maintain the angle on the 7. But coming across, there is a little danger of the side pocket, and this is where you make sure you'd rather run into the 8 with the cue ball than lose it in the side pocket. So no reason to get too cute, just all about the speed.
Talk about changing your fortunes with one slice of inspiration. How about that? Hebler played a simply tremendous hook. And what was his reward? Sitting down for the rest of the rack. The tremendous escape from Chua, the bonus ball going in, and then the run out. It is 1-1. Also 1-1 between Niels Fine, the recently elected Dutchman into the Hall of Fame. Tom Staveley and Mieszko Fortunski 1-1. Wu Kun Lin and Talal Al-Blushi the same score. Second round match is just getting underway. Same for Imran Majid, but he's won the first 2 racks against Babkin Melkonyan. Luong Dok Tien 3-2 up on Petri Makinen. Matthias Nigotsky still on the hill against Marcel Price at 8-3. And Daniel Massaol now on table 2, in full control against Pierre Filler at 7-1.
Yeah, it just changed to 8-1, and I'll tell you, Daniel looks very comfortable. I know he was a favorite here, but knows how well Pia plays, and just really love his pace around the table, everything he's showing off so far. Now, I think he wants to attack here, but we'll see.
As Hebler comes to the table, better news also for title holder Albin Auschen. Now 4-up on Panagiotis Poliatis. Another long shot here for Johann, and one he's got to work the cue ball, so I think something that you and I love to see. It's the great players making the tough shots. We'll see how smooth the stroke is here working the cue ball. Oh, he had to go forward. What contact that was, and got a lot of power. Very full shot, barely any angle. Traveled some 14 feet up and down the table with the cue ball. Went a little further than he wanted there, so gonna have to hold the cue ball and then maybe kill the ball off the 6 to hold for the 6. Left side of the table, about medium speed. May have to get through the ball a little more. Oh, he did, getting through it on the right, so even required a little more speed, and quickly that kick shot from rack 2 has gotten Johann Chau settled in. So much ammunition, Johann Chau, a one-man highlight reel, and he leads a Roman Hybler by 2 racks to 1. Now, earlier today, Fedor Gorsht had to come back from 8-2 down to win his first match, and afterwards we had a chat.
I've made my way down on the floor, on the arena. There's 26 tables in action, non-stop pool action here on day one of the European Open. You can literally walk all through the channels. Superstars everywhere, defending champions actually playing in the centre of the arena. Albion Ocean, Lucius Yap's playing. Max Lechner, I can see, is over there. One man who is very happy to win his opening round. Fedor Gors, and he's with us. Fedor, 8-2 down. You won 9-8. Talk us through the match.
Yeah, it was a weird match. I didn't have a shot until, like, a good opportunity to win the rack until it was 6-0 down, and then I was starting to miss everything because I couldn't feel anything. Like, I wasn't confident, and I didn't feel my stroke, and suddenly I felt brain dead, and took a break, went to the restroom, came back, and then kind of the same thing happened. I won and lose a couple racks, and I found myself down 8-2, and then he broke dry. I ran 4 and then fluked the 9-ball on the break, so it was 8-7. Then I played a good safety. He gave me an opportunity to win the rack, and I broke dry. He should have won and hang the 6-ball. Thank God.
You've won a lot of pool tournaments, former world champion. How desperate are you to win in the Matchroom Arena?
I mean, I really want to win at least one or many majors that Matchroom is organizing. It's a completely different atmosphere, completely different tournament, so that's my goal, to win one.
Well, all the pool fans, we all know you're good enough. Good luck. Round 2 coming up soon. All the best.
Thanks, Carl.
And I can tell you, Daniel Massenol on the hill against Pierre Filler on table 2. When that match is completed, the next offering over there on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel will be Fedor Gors against Yuri Pisklov. On Sunday night, if he's lifting the trophy, Fedor Gors will look back on that one. What a comeback to start off a tournament.
He and I have talked a little bit about a few things about these Matchroom events, and he just knows the setting's different, the pressure's higher. Of course, the events, the most quality events there are, and the players make all that. And of course, the tougher equipment, the tougher break rule, it all adds up.
Now, there was perceptible upper body movement on that shot, which you don't associate with Johann Chau.
Yeah, he doesn't miss many of the tough ones, and you wouldn't say that was a hanger, but a little on the easier side, and one got away there. See what Roman can do. He's got an easy 2-ball, easy 3, but then the rack starts to get a little more complicated with the pink 4 up the table. He's not going to be in love with that. And really tricky coming across the middle of the table, that spot area with balls hanging, getting the cue ball to travel. Probably caught the 2 just a little heavy. Now this is where he has to maybe forget what happened earlier in the match, excuse me. Played a perfect safety, and we saw a trick shot from Johann, but you kind of wonder if Roman's on the fence playing safe or not playing safe, and what he's seen Johann's capable of. It probably stays a little more attacking. I like him to attack here. Anyways, the 4-6 isn't that tough. I like him taking on the bank here. Sliding the cue ball up the table a little bit. Could cut it. Yeah, I like that play a lot. got ideal as far as making the combination, but anytime you're a little off angle, that means the 4-6 isn't straight, and you're kind of straight yourself as far as you don't have to cut the 4. Holding position on the pink afterwards becomes a little tricky. He's going to love this, I think anyways. Yes, it did hold up.
Well, you certainly can't pick fault with Hebler's performance so far.
Now looking to tie the score with a nice run here, but really Johann has earned a couple of those games getting out of some situations. Little light with the cue ball, so a little 9-ball you got to pay attention to.
Caught it just a little bit thick, but it went in regardless. Roman Hybler has shared the first 4 racks with one of the men of the moment in 9-ball pool, Johann Chau. The man of the moment last year in this tournament in Fulda was Albin Auschen. He's defending his title pretty well so far. 6-2 up on Panagiotis Kasipoliatis. Hunter Lombardo, make that 7-2 as I'm speaking for Auschen. Hunter Lombardo 7-4 up on Pier Francesco Garzia. Daniel Maciel still on the hill against Pierre Filler at 8-2. Matthias Snigotsky from Poland has got over the line against Marcel Price at 9-3. Senarip Azar from Sweden has taken the first rack from Alexa Pachelch, Paul's latest 9-ball tour ranking event winner. And Luong Doktian and Petri Makinen 3-3. Moritz Neuhausen 7-6 up against Ricardo Goodjar.
Looked like he took a little speed off, and I tell you, can't really speak for matches 3 and 4 as much, but match 1, 2, and now match 5 on the main table, it seems like they've made the one in the corner off the break more than they've made the one on the side.
Funnily enough, I was talking to Ben, our referee, who's just set the balls up there, and he was saying the same thing. The one isn't going to the middle on table 1.
I was going to say it seemed like that Hybler took a little speed off of that break shot there, and not always intentional, but didn't seem like quite the ones before we saw. All right, I think you just got to probably drop the 2 below the 6, trying to come back and maybe use the purple. You could double bank this, putting the 2 underneath the 6 and slide the cue ball behind the 7-9. There's a lot of options there. I don't think the 2 bank really goes. Oh, he did go for it. I do like that. I like him being aggressive and not a real big underdog, if any, to make that cross corner bank.
Gary Wilson, snooker player turned pool fan. He's leading Chau Chen 4-1 out on table 14.
Gary in his opener played a really good match and then just let a few things get away, and that match got awfully close. But I think he's in better form. Especially a guy like Gary, you know. I think he's been working on his 9-ball a little bit, or at least, you know, in thought of the game. And a player and a competitor like himself, he'll put a little more pressure on himself as he starts to play more of this, and especially with some results he's had, some final 16s and whatnot.
Roman Hybler felt the pressure from round one. Yes, he came through his opening match against Andre Vansner, but he was 8-4 up on the hill, had to wait for victory until 9-7.
Queuing down on the ball makes me think he's trying to maybe play the kiss shot on the pink. Coming off his left side of the three, and you got to believe the safety, because the thing is you have to hit the ball with some speed to draw it. And now it looks like he's trying to pinch this underneath the 9, banking the 3 back up table. I don't think that's laying very nice to do that. Looks like just kind of roll the 3 past the 9 a little bit, go the rail with a little left, what would be left spin, and come behind the pink with the cue ball. Pia Filler making a real nice out here to stay alive in that match. Now he's going back to the kiss shot, cueing lowly.
Yeah, Filler has knocked in the 9-ball to trail Daniel Masséon 8-3.
Yeah, he's trying to draw the ball up underneath the 9. That's what I worry about with that shot. I don't think it did get away, though. It's close.
I think Chua can see this.
Well, if he can see it, undoubtedly he's going to try and attack, cutting this ball in and trying to find some gap coming down the table for the pink.
Could see more of it than we thought, because he undercut the red 3-ball, and now Hebler's got the chance to retake the lead. one of those players, Hebler, never to be taken lightly. If you can win a Euro Tour event, particularly the German Open, although it was 21 years ago, if you can win one of those and go deep in World Championships, you can compete. And that's what he's doing right now.
And it's amazing how players evolve through the years. Hybler, when I was first around him, a lot faster around the table. And I wouldn't doubt, though, a little gamesmanship here, knowing that how much Chua can get going, right? Maybe kind of taking his time here early. Sit Johann in the chair a little longer. Got a little funny here because he's going into the 9 just a bit if he goes forward. You know, this is where you probably worry a little more than you should. Chances are you go forward, very hard to get snookered, even going into the 9. But now he's going to try and pinch it, take the cut shot on the 8.
To stand any chance against one of the game's big guns, you have to turn up and play well. That's what Roman Hybler is doing at the moment. He leads 3-2. Niels Fine is out on table 26 against Benji Buckley. It's 3-3. Fine's got that big date. He will be inducted into the Billiards Congress of America Hall of Fame during the International Open in Virginia in early November, I believe it is. Miguel Silva from Portugal, 2-1 up on Thomas Kaplan, early days in that match. Mieszko Fortunski, 4-1 up on Tom Staveley of the UK. Woo Kun Lin, who we saw earlier, he's 4-2 up on Talal Al-Balushi. Imran Majid, 2-1 on Babkan Melkonyan. Dennis Grabber and David Zalman have shared the first 2 racks. Moritz Neuhausen on the hill against Ricardo Gudjar at 8-6. Terrific players everywhere you look.
And Moritz, of course, World Cup of Pool runner-up with Josh Filler. Scratch on the break here, but so his first big event since that, you know, that run at that title, and his biggest run in his professional career. And now a couple awkward matches to start, right? Plays Mika von Berkel first, where he's a big favorite, but of course the junior plays great, and there's a little extra added pressure playing a junior. And now in his second round, and a tough one, even though on the hill against a fellow countryman, which is always difficult, especially as a favorite as well. If he can get through, he has tomorrow off, or most likely off. Some of the draw has tomorrow off, and be a good setup for him to get into that 3rd round and winner's qualification. Now there must be more of a problem here, that being the 6. The 6 may not go, maybe attached to the 8 in a funny manner to where it's hard to pocket. Otherwise, it's not a difficult rack. There is some work, of course.
Let me quickly tell you, Albin Auschen through against Pana Giotis Kasepal Oliatis, 9-2. So the defending champion Now awaits either Hunter Lombardo or Pier Francesco Garcia. And it looks like being Lombardo because the American is on the hill at 8-5.
Yeah, really trying to get at that 6-8 some kind of way, whether that be here on the 2 while the 3's kind of looming right there close, or maybe off the 3 while trying to get on the pink 4. Looks like maybe one rail cross, trying to bump it. He missed it. Did get an angle here, so maybe he can work the cue ball off the purple 5 here in a few shots to open up the 6. Definitely is connected to that 8 and does not play in the lower right.
Leaning over in a rather ungainly manner there. Never really liked that, but how can you possibly criticise that shot?
No, and playing another arc on the cue ball intentionally. I came off the rail, pocketing the 5. Came out towards the 9, then took a dive downward with the top spin. A little straight here, so he's got to really work the cue. Oh, my. So a miscue we rarely see. He's going to give up ball in hand, and I'll tell you, probably a 2-game deficit.
And that can have long-term implications because the next time he plays a deep screw shot, he'll be thinking about that. Deep screw and reverse side to widen the angle for Roman Hybler, who's 3 balls away from a 2-rack advantage.
And winning a lot of games without really getting the break going as well. So a little scary situation here at 4-2 with a very capable player breaking the balls again in game 7. And start to get that going, maybe pulls off this upset.
Roman Hybler doing exactly what he's got to do, playing some very nice shots, playing some concise pool, and when his opponent makes a mistake, as he did there with the miscue, stepping in. Hebler leads Chua by 4-2. Hunter Lombardo still on the hill against Pier Francesco Garcia, so needing one more rack. Lombardo to take on Albin Ocean in the next round. Match not over on table 2 either. Daniel Masol against Pierre Filler. It's been a busy day, Jeremy, but one where we've seen an awful lot of really intriguing pool. None more so, I think, than the Fedor Gorsh comeback.
Yeah, I would have to agree there. And of course, Copigny's first match had the crowds going, and they got quite awake here early in this arena. Started matches at 10 a.m. here local time. I'd like to see him put a little more speed into this break shot. And this table is breaking difficult. Not been easy at all. It's going to be very hard for Johann Chau to pass on this jump shot, or maybe a rail first on the one. Rail first doesn't really lend much for position, though. I do believe he snookered here on the brown 7.
He was slightly delayed, but in the end, Daniel Massiol did beat Pierre Filler 9-3.
Not easy rail first shot, being so much above the ball and the one a bit off the rail, some little ways from the pocket. Not saying you're supposed to pass this, but I don't really see position that easy getting on the blue 2. I think you could certainly give up a shot. I think he's gotten away with the miss a little bit. Solid hit on the one from Hebler. One traveled all the way around the table, not contacting another ball. Gave up a pretty nice shot to open here for Johann Chau, and fell a little short, but should be okay. Close enough to the 2. Should be able to work the cue ball. Maybe a little concern coming across with the purple. Like I said, most of the time, the players can get enough draw to kind of arc the cue ball above the purple here.
Not for the first time, overcutting a relatively short-range pot. Johann Chau is not at the top of his game.
No, he's overcut that by some piece. It was a 2-ball earlier to the lower left corner. He overcut, and it just hasn't been the performance we expected so far, but that can change. And problem is he has a very difficult opponent trying to slow down that change and maybe not let it come to light. These are all big shots, though. You talk about something that wakes up the best in the world as one that misses you don't expect or you don't see coming from your opponent. And Roman's played real solid so far. He's just got to stick to it. Anytime you got to get into the cue ball off of a little bit of a flat angle here and doesn't want to flirt with the side. So easy to fall kind of straight on this purple, wanting to get the cue ball across and, of course, above the purple 5. And not saying it would cause a major problem, but would make the rack a lot more difficult getting on the 6 and finishing the clearance here. Oh, he hit this sweet. He's going to keep a little angle. Much different than a Roman Hybler that we saw years and years ago. Really piecing it together here, working through the rack. Now, if this ball's froze, it looked like it was a little off the rail to me. Coming backwards with the cue ball, you have to be on point. Easy to pull this cue ball off, or excuse me, pull the 5 ball off the rail. Trying to draw the cue ball.
We've seen precious little so far to suggest he's going to mess this up. 5-2 looming. Now that was a slightly edgy delivery of the cue, but the result was okay.
Yeah, he's overrun his, ideal mark by a little piece, but just got to hit it in lightly, coming a couple rails for the 8 in the lower left. Don't think you're going to see him come 4 rails or anything like that. Just got to float the ball in a little bit.
Held that really nicely. Actually hit the round 7 ball into the thick part of the pocket, which meant that the cue ball had some pace taken out of it. Superman from the World Cup is showing his mortal today. Johann Chau 5-2 down now against Roman Hybler. Some other big names having initial struggles, like Neil Svian, 4-3 down to the UK's Benji Buckley. Now this was last year voted third as the shot of the year by Matchroom's viewers, Yuri Pisklov. What a shot that was. What a way to pot the ball. And the reason we're showing that is because now Pisklov is playing again in front of our cameras. A very tough assignment against Fedor Gorst over on table 2. Gorst must be feeling as though he's armour-plated after that victory in the first round against Alexander's Hersens when he was 8-2 down and somehow won 9-8.
Yeah, for this type of event, probably his biggest comeback ever, or odds are. His biggest comeback ever, maybe not, but you wouldn't call it playing on house money, Phil, but it's got to be a pretty good feeling, that comeback, and you expect a much better start for Fedor Gorst here in round two.
Don't forget all of the action on table 2, including the Gorst Pisklov match, available on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel.
He's going to lose the cue ball. Wow. I was just going to say that really Johann Chau has gotten the most out of Roman's break so far. A little better there, making the one on the side. A little awful kiss on the cue ball. Now Johann has a chance to make up for a few mistakes and maybe cut this lead.
You would think if he can sort out the 2-3 positional conundrum, then the rest should fall into place.
Yeah, he's got a couple places he could go with this. He's going to come to the thin cut on the 3, and that tells me, well, now he's changing back to his original plan. I like this better myself. Got plenty of room to come across, catch the second rail. Shouldn't be any kind of worry getting that gap. It's a big gap between the 6-9. Just make sure you're off the rail. That way you can work the cue ball. Saw him just look at that tip right there and kind of shake his head like thinking of that miscue from a few games ago.
So, Jeremy, what's the rule if the tip was damaged in snooker? If a player damages his tip, he's allowed a 15-minute suspension in play to go backstage and get it repaired.
Don't think that's the rule here. Most of the players carry 2 to 3, 4 shafts just in case of any type of issue. Now we saw some things where you can take your time out, and there's, of course, the referees, they have, there's extenuating circumstances at times, but I think it was Kachi that had some tip issues just a few tournaments ago and had to get some repairs kind of on the run. Here trying to stun to the side rail, in rail, and back up. He's one of the best at that shot right there, and it's almost like a Filipino shot, if you ask me, and I think just because of the conditions they play under so often, that shot comes up quite often.
Marginally short on the green 6 ball, but it should be okay.
And that happens a lot when you know you want an angle and you really don't go and look where you want to get. You just kind of sacrifice and get a bit more of an angle a lot of times than you really want. But now back on the board here in a moment.
Yeah, a couple of times today it's looked as though he's going to find some sustained momentum. Not always been the case. It's been 1 step forward, 2 steps back in many respects this match. But now Chua trailing only 5-3, and you get the impression that he would be well equipped for a tight match late on. Now we showed you a teaser for Fedor Gorsht against Yuri Pisklov. Well, Gorsht has got the initial chance. Makes so much prize money, doesn't he, winning all of the smaller events in America, it seems, one after the next. But the next ambition for him is to win a major Matchroom 9-ball ranking tournament like this.
And an open miss on the purple 5 from Fedor Gorsht. If you want to keep up with that match, go to the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel. Here's that big break. 1 down, 2 straight in the corner, 3 hanging, 4 not much of a problem, the 5 and 6 near, and the 7 hanging, so should get out to cut this lead. Besides working the cue ball, this is probably the biggest test pocketing a ball. And another struggle for a player coming out of the pocket with the cue ball, or a ball hanging in the pocket with the cue ball. He was certainly trying to come up for the pink in the side, and that's where maybe the tip got him a little bit. Thinking of that miscue, a lot of players from that angle would draw the cue ball with the 3 being so deep. Now I'm going to make a nice kill shot on the 4.
I can tell you, Hunter Lombardo has killed off his match against Pierfrancesco Garzia, winning 9-5. So Lombardo goes forward to play Albin Auschen, the title holder, next.
You had mentioned earlier about Niels Fan. Of course, big congratulations to him later this year. A very deserving induction into the Hall of Fame there in Virginia. But you were saying some struggles for him early, but he's playing one of the more capable players from the UK, Benji Buckley, a really good guy and a player that most all the Euros know, and it's a guy that cannot be taken lightly. And one that just started playing in these events, these bigger Matchroom events here of late. He's played in them before years ago, but didn't see him in any of these until the UK Open. Just a little speed control here coming down the table for the 9.
I think that fits the bill. Is Johann Chau motoring? Well, what we can say for sure, he's closed the gap from 5-2 down to 5-4. Francesco Candela of Italy, he's had some good success this year. 8-7 up and on the hill against Ian Pekinyak. Petri Makinen from Finland, 7-5 up on Luong Doktian. Early stages, Seneri Pazar 3-2 up on Alexa Pachelch. Of course, these players desperately want to win their first 2 matches. It makes life so much easier for them. David Zalman from the Czech Republic, 4-3 up on Denis Graber. And Imran Majidou won his first match 9-1. He's on course for something similar. He's 6-1 up on Babkin Melkonyan. And I can tell you over on table 2, Yuri Pisklov has won the first rack against Fedor Gorsht.
Yeah, Federer missed that 5-ball, an open 5-ball, and now struggle on the break. The one's going to come up. So Roman back at the table now, and very difficult rack. You can see some congestion with the 5 and 9, and he's got to really make a nice shot here on the 1 to spread the cue ball to get the 2 in the same pocket.
You're absolutely right, though, Jeremy. This table all day has been breaking really funky.
Yeah, and it's amazing how that'll change come tomorrow. It seems like, or it has the opportunity to change, and that's really with, you know, no manual changes or man-made changes overnight or anything like that. The refs won't really make, you know, any adjustments unless they're really needed.
And apparently, over on table 2 on the opposite side of the arena, the break has been entirely conventional in terms of the one going into the centre.
Heavy spin shot here coming across the 1. He's going to got by the 2, which was key. Good thing is the pink 4 is near that troublesome purple 5 and 9. So the key here is don't get the angle to where you're running into the 6-7. It's not a big deal either. Actually, you can stay above the 6-7 when you shoot the 3. I would actually look at that myself. Shoot the 2 in, get straight on the 3, knock it in, keep the angle from above the 6-7. That way you can cut the 4 and go into the 5-9 with the cue ball. Now the 5 does play in the upper right and upper left corners if you wanted to get below it later on, that being the purple 5. Oh, can't start having that. First kind of quick transition we saw on the stroke from Roman.
So many things to say about that shot. As Jeremy said, it was badly cued. He missed it by a mile, and then the fluke. The wages of sin.
Well, that's more the mistake I used to see from Roman years ago. He had a bit more of a faster tempoed stroke when he first hit the scene, but, you know, being younger and super talented and eager and whatnot, seemed to get away with some things like that technically, and now he's calmed it down through the years, but it kind of crept back in there. And here's what he'll do, like I was talking about, stay above for that gap between the 7-9. Oh, he's going down below. So he's not going to open up the 5. He's just going to play the short side position.
We're now into the business end of this match, and flukes like that can be priceless.
Yeah, especially he goes on to get out and really hasn't made many mistakes at all. So the one kind of errant stroke, he can kind of forget about that one, recognize what happened, and get on with it. May rub the 9 just ever so slightly as he contacts the 5 and goes through with a little high spin here. And again, years make all the difference in any sport, and especially a sport that means so much between the ears and the nerves and everything else. But totally different player than 20 years ago. Very efficient with the cue ball here in this match. He's really used his brain very well. Of course, we have all the advantage of getting to see both tables and the rest of the arena, but at first glance, looks like the man that Federer Gorst is playing is very, very capable. Another one of those German players we don't know a ton about, but seem to just keep running out.
Well, it was nicely done in the end. On the 2-ball, Lady Luck smiled on Roman Hybler, and the man from the Czech Republic smiled back. It is 6-4. That fluke 2-ball come at a very significant time, maybe. 6-4 the scoreline also for Wu Kunlin over Talal Alblushi. Mieszko Fortunski 2 racks away from victory over Tom Stavely at 7-3. Miguel Silva of Portugal, who impressed at the Spanish Open, he's 5-3 up on Thomas Kaplan. 6-4 now, Niels Fine over Benji Buckley. Fine's won the last 3 racks. A veteran against a junior on table 19, Radislav Babic, who's been around forever. 2-1 up on Khalid Al-Ghamdi. Imran Majid 6-1 now on Babkin Melkonyan. Good day for Majid. Hardly put a foot wrong. And Petri Makinen on the hill against Luong Doktian at 8-5. Alexa Pacholch 4-3 up on Senarib Azar. And a result for you. Francesco Candela of Italy has just beaten Ian Pekenyak 9-7. Candela having a very good 2023.
Yeah, well, he's been a steady player, and he's the type of player that can get beat by someone, you know, an underdog, you know, where when Candela's a favorite, he can get beat by a player you wouldn't expect early, but when he puts some wins together, he gains a lot of confidence, very capable. Rode with him on the train over, really enjoy always talking to Fran, and a guy that expects to have some results.
Also near the top of the bracket on table 13, former world and US Open champion Mika Immonen. He's taking on a Bulgarian, Georgi Georgiev, and Georgiev leads 2-1. Make that 3-1.
You know, Hebler, who kind of turned up the pace on the last break shot. I like the looks of it. Got the one down. I think if you have that in your arsenal, that's the way to go. Got an awful kiss on the cue ball in the last one. Was able to get away with it. Now avoided that kiss. Has a very nice starter on the blue 2 with the red 3 near. And I'll tell you, another doable rack.
We must emphasise this is not a case of playing to remain in the tournament. In the early stages of these Nineball Tour ranking events, it is double elimination. So the loser will have a chance of redemption. But of course, on the one-loss side, there's an awful lot of toil to be done before you book your place in the single elimination last 64.
Yeah, and the race is shortened by 1 game until that loser qualification round where they go back to 9. But that race to 8, you know, can be a little more stressful as well.
And we do get to see quite a lot of losers side matches. They provide great drama, actually. And I think if Chua were to lose this match, there's a very good chance we'll see him again.
Oh, he gained a nice angle here to play the 6 in the side. A little tricky, the 6 in the side, though. You don't want to overrun position where you can't naturally get on the 7, but you also have to get pretty decent here because the 7 doesn't pass the 8. Maybe broaden the cue ball a little bit instead of drawn in tight. Maybe spread the cue ball a little more towards that opposite side pocket, giving you a little more to work with. Yeah, I don't know. This may be that angle I was talking about where he's going away from the 7 a bit. But not a ton of angle to where it's easy to work the cue ball up the table and back down. And the reason why it's not easy is anytime you have to pound it is when you lose your speed control and occasionally the line on the cue ball. Now, if he had a lot of angle where he could roll this and go the top rail and back down, well, kind of expect good results. But like I said, anytime you have to pound it, easy to lose the speed. And I think that's what he's got to do. He's just got to go straight to the top rail and just kind of come one rail by the side pocket, trying to fall in that gap between the 8 and 9. Yeah, that's the shot there. It's not the most fun shot to play, but just no really ifs, ands, and buts about it. And he hit it very, very well. And 3-game lead here approaching the end of this match, Phil. Could certainly see Johann Chau on the one-loss side.
It was a potential banana skin, no doubt, given what Hebler has done in his career. But let's be honest about it. The way Chua played in the World Cup, we didn't expect him to lose. And he could yet turn this around, but 7-4 is worrying.
Yeah, and Roman, I mean, he's gone from a player that kind of would win matches you didn't expect and then maybe lose some you didn't expect, a very, very steady opponent. And I tell you, given the opportunity and now breaking the balls a little better, you got to like his chances.
Petri Mäkinen on the hill against Luong Doktian at 8-5. Dennis Grabber just taking the lead against David Zalman at 5-4. Imran Majid has just dropped his 3rd rack of the day. He's won 15 though. He leads Babkan Melkonyan 6-2. Just to repeat, 256 players here, representing an extraordinary amount of nationalities. 57 in total. 37 nationalities are represented in the top 128 of the world Nineball rankings.
Oh, what a big fluke on that blue 2 in the previous game for Hybler. Backed it up with a run out, then another break and run to extend that lead. So taking full advantage of a little bit of a roll. I think he can get at this one coming across it off the side rail, though it's going to be tricky to get that position on the 2 he wants. This one ball's deep, deep in that corner. So if you try to hit it thin, you could actually whiff the entire ball. Oh, he's hit this perfectly, Phil. Really good speed.
He's been impressive, there's no doubt, one has to say, in the 10th rack. When he fluked the 2, that really was a pivotal moment, but okay, he had that luck. Generally speaking, though, he's been the better player, the more reliable player.
And that little saying you had in our last match, I believe it was, that we worked, you know, no reason to get lucky if you're not going to back it up and run out behind it. And that's what he's done here. And Again, in that 10th rack, he did it. And then rack 11, he had a break and run, a nice one. This is tricky. I mean, he could come not too hard to come 2 rails between the 4-9. I know that looks like a small gap to come between and then back out to the center. Could come 1 rail kind of back, short side on the 3. But if the line's there, don't worry about a little traffic. Yeah, just like that. I think that's a great decision. And again, a very experienced player that's starting to see it all at the moment.
Yeah, just because you've got lots of experience doesn't mean to say that under pressure you're going to use it. He has, though, in this match.
Yeah, I mean, we could look at that fluke on the blue too, but he played a safety that was one of the best we've seen so far in the match, and Johann Chau made an incredible trick shot to get out there and put a game on his side, so no mistake from Roman in that lost game.
Yeah, that was in the 2nd rack. Remember, Chua actually led 2-1.
Got a little straight here, but should be able to stun over. And this is where you don't worry as much when you recognize the 7. The brown 7's not stuck off on a rail somewhere or up table. You can really afford a lot and handle a lot on the purple 5. Federgorst has missed a couple balls, but then here in rack number 4, Yuri has missed right behind him. It's table 2 in the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel.
Yeah, Pistol off leading that one 2-1. Early stages in a race to 9. What we're watching, though, the latter stages, and Roman Hybler 3 pots away from being on the hill.
Yeah, and being on the hill and playing as clean a match as we've seen, really, or at least you and I have, on the main table. And that's just a little bit of it. You know, him just recognizing right there, I was getting into that shot a little quick. Maybe didn't feel right. Let me reboot. No reason to take a chance at missing any balls, even though one you don't expect to be missed.
World Cup? What World Cup? It's all about the tournament that is here and now. And for all the inspiration he showed in helping the Philippines win the World Cup in Spain recently, Johann Chau in this match is being given a lesson. It's neat and tidy pull from Roman Hybler. And he's doubling up on Chua, leading by 8 racks to 4. 1 more needed for progress. Radislav Babica of Poland, 4 up on Khalid Al-Ghamdi of Saudi Arabia. Neil Svyan finds himself on the hill against Benji Buckley at 8-5. 6-4 for Miguel Silva over Thomas Kaplan. On the hill, Mieszko Fortunski and Tom Stavely is the man who's being victimised there at 8-4. Wu Kun Lin, 7-4 up on Talal Al-Balushi. And I also noticed that Gary Wilson was on the hill on table 13. I believe he was 8-5 ahead of Shea Chia Chen, and that remains the case. Now, can Hebler convert? Remember, he was 8-4 up in an identical position against Andre Vansner in his first match today, and then was made to sweat before winning 9-7.
Well, 2 breaking runs to get to the hill here, and looks like that's going to end here with a dry break in rack number 13 and a really nice starter for Johann Chau. And you wouldn't say it needed to be a nice starter, but it doesn't hurt.
Of all the snooker players who've made the crossover, Gary Wilson has definitely been the best. And he's recorded another very notable victory, 9-5 over Shea Chia-Chen. So Wilson, 2 matches played, 2 victories.
Well, what I've seen so far from Gary here, and not saying it was a big lack of it in other events, but really kind of paying attention more where I really want the cue ball from shot to shot. Not just, oh, I want this area, and just getting a little more in tune with the game itself.
The best advice playing Chua, don't give him anything. The Hebler break off at 8-4 did give Chua this wonderful chance to get going, but hold on a minute. Oh dear me, that could spell the end.
Yeah, and I looked at the shot and I said, well, is this a little thin? Is the side really a worry? And the deal is he kind of put a little more speed. You kind of got to slow draw that pass when the angle's, you know, a little funny, and or let's say on the border of being a problem. But I'll tell you, I mean, you got to give it to Roman. He started off putting a little heat on Johann right from the start, and he's kept it on the entire match.
Well, this has been intriguing to watch. My favourite match of the day, certainly. And what about the next offering for you? It's Joshua Filler against Tony Drago, the 2 speedsters going head to head.
Okay, fell a little funny here, so he's going to inspect what he wants to do. Does he want to come 2 rails across? Could play short side on the 8. Most would avoid that, but could take a chance coming 2 rails and just, you know, maybe getting somewhat straight on the 8. Be unfortunate, probably. Oh, my. Don't want to have any chinks in the armor. Don't want to have any let up, no matter who you're playing in this field, but especially a man like Johann Chau.
When Fedor Gorsh made that remarkable comeback against Alexander Horsens earlier, Horsens missed a 6 ball he should have potted. Will the 7 be the regretful ball for Hebler?
I'll tell you, this landed just about as funny as it could. Now, he made that look pretty easy, but it was far from it. Cue ball rolled out nicely there.
Hebler was so close to victory, but he's not there yet. (8-5), Chua stays alive, and what's more, he gets to break off in rack 14. Had that miscue earlier in the contest. Maybe still not happy with the tip. You can see him rubbing it on the cushion rail there, but at least he's still going. Let's just take a quick look over onto table 2, where the early running in quite a slow match is being made by Yuri Pisklov. He leads Fedor Gorsht 2-1, and Pisklov is at the table.
Yeah, really should have had a 3-1 lead. He missed a pretty easy 2-ball earlier in this rack, and then Federer kind of missed a ball and then missed position in an easy scenario, and there from both players just kind of battling to get this game 4.
So the missed 7-ball from Hebler in rack 13, will it prove unlucky?
This is the problem, it seems like, so far on table 1. If you fall behind, the table seems to be playing or breaking very difficult. It's so very hard to make those comebacks. Super nice shot from Yuri, jacked up on the 6th there on table 2. Looking to take a 2-game lead as well.
The most important thing for Hebler, and I think he's experienced enough not to do this, but he mustn't dwell. He was very close to winning. Mustn't dwell on the missed 7.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this opener right here can do a lot for his confidence and leaving that missed 7 behind. It's the type of shot you can kind of lay up and take a little longer 2-ball. I like getting into this a little bit, trying to get a little closer. You're never going to get close to the 2, but put more of a confident stroke on it. I like what he went for, just didn't pan out.
And there is a route through to the thin edge of the 1.
Didn't seem Hebler was too upset with the miss. I would say shocked at miss, but it seemed like he was happy with the stroke. Cue ball responded nicely. He's going to get enough spin on this. Is he just going to come out? Oh, he decided to work the cue ball, trying to get closer to the blue 2.
Lots of inside spin there on the cue ball, but in the end, not enough.
Too hard here.
An opportunity passed up.
Yeah, and all those types of shots there, of course, just always think about the speed of the cue ball just staying on the rail, just laying on the rail. That's usually the comfortable speed, gives you a little more margin for error and on controlling the speed of the cue ball. Now he's got a big ball to get behind here. And not only that, the 2 will go up table a bit. He can use the 5-9 as well. This could be really good. And tactically, you got to give it to Roman right on this match. He's been better, a little better than Johann.
Yeah, as you said before, in the second rack, he played an absolutely terrific hook, which yielded nothing because Chua made an amazing escape, knocked in a ball and cleared. But generally speaking, I agree. His safety has been superior.
Okay, so a ball in hand. We'll see what the black 8 and how it unfolds. Shouldn't be a problem. I think the 7 does play. He's going to have to make a bit of a shot on the 6. I think the 5 does get by the 9 in the lower left. So if he can get, you know, the the 2, 3, 4 down and get somewhat straight on the 5. Oh, the overhead also, which we're always having the advantage of having here in the booth. So I'll tell you another thing he could play. He could play the 5 off the 7 in the side later in the rack. Not a hard shot. Could open up the 6 a little easier and give you another option for the purple 5. Not sure he's really recognized that yet.
Remember, this is the second time on the hill he's had ball in hand. In the previous rack, even though Chua won it, he potted a ball and scratched.
Oh, this is a mile short for ball in hand now. Well, it rolled out a little more than I thought, but he's going to be over the 5 a little. Does he draw into the pink here? Does he roll by the pink, trying to take a bit more of a shot up the table?
While he's contemplating and walking around the table, I can tell you Imran Majid has defeated Babkin Melkonyan 9-2. So a 9-1 and a 9-2 win for Majid today.
Well, it seems without the shot clock, Imran's as tough as they get. And it's always been a steady player. He's just kind of improved his skills through the years and very keen with the brain.
Another big player result. Niels Fine has beaten Benji Buckley 9-6.
So that first positional shot on the 2, the 3 has gotten him to where he's got to sacrifice and make a bit more of a shot on the pink 4. And this is where, if you look and recognize that 5 off the 7 in the side, opens up options on this pink 4. Don't have to come above the 5 and maybe take a chance of scratching by the 7, something like that. And I'm keeping a half eye on table 2. And of course, Fedor Gorst in his interview said that his opponent in round 1 broke and ran 4 racks. That'll cause some problems and certainly cause a deficit. But I see a lot of struggles going on in this match from Fedor, and all kinds as well. Missed balls, speed control, a little off with the position.
Yes, and Pisklov has got the 9 to go 4-1 ahead. Action on both sides of this arena. Oh, beautifully played, with shape on the 5 included.
Man, I think he got a little thin. Real nice on the pink 4. He got a little thin on the 5 to be able to hold the cue ball for the 6. So he's still going to have to come back and forth, I believe, anyways.
In goes the 9 from Pisklov, 4-1. Fedor Gorst trails.
Oh, nice there, and really good speed. He's going to get, you couldn't say ball in hand position, but you got to like it. And in that interview that Fedor had, you know, he said he took that break and came back and things got a lot better. Well, he just took his break here in this match at 4-1.
He missed the 7 in the last rack. He's not going to miss this 7, surely.
No, and he'd like to have a little more cut on this 7, but this is kind of the same, especially if he's near the rail with the cue ball, but kind of the same as coming out of the pocket from across the middle of the table. This ball here, if you hit it or you get into it a little much, a good kind of hydraulic and hug there a bit and bring the 9 into play. He's kind of got to slow roll this and let it just kind of float across to get any kind of shot on the 8. If he overhits it, could have problems. See that? And that's what I was talking about. You have to really, really roll the ball and try and play it as much cut to the pocket as you can. Now, if he happens to not get out here, this where it could become very mental, Phil, even with opportunities in the future to win the match.
But does the 9 provide a potting guide, I wonder?
It could, but also at the same time, you could catch the 9 coming back out. You don't figure to, but... And the other thing is when it's like this, sometimes you can't really put much English on the cue ball to try and direct the line of the cue ball to get position on the 9. So lots going on here. Oh, he's putting spin. He's playing rail first.
Surely at this stage you don't want to overcomplicate anything, do you?
Well, I think it's almost a has to be if he's putting the spin on the ball. He's kept it really simple the entire match, so I don't think he's been out of line with the decisions pretty much at all. And this is where, I think his bit of a calmer stroke than yesteryear, I think, helps with this spin shot. You get a little quick, you could whiff the entire 8, not hit it at all. Like that.
Wow. They say in snooker, the last frame is always the hardest to win. In pool, quite often, for an underdog, it's the last rack that's the hardest to win. And right now, Roman Hybler is showing that.
Yeah, and we'll see, if he gets another opportunity and none any better than the one he's had, or at least the last 2 he's had, that being in each of the last 2 games.
Really is a gift for Johann Chau. The missed 7 ball out of nothing in rack 13. Then the 8 ball was missed completely on the verge of victory. And Hybler's lead reduced from 8-4 to 8-6 when by now he should be on 9 and celebrating. I think it also adds to the pressure, regardless of where you are in the tournament, who you're playing. It would mean an awful lot to him to beat someone of Johann Chau's class, ability and recent success.
Yeah, no doubt. Roman keeps up with everything going on in the pool world, of course, and knows this is the World Cup of Pool title holder at the moment. Half that team. The break has been no friend for Johann for the most part in this match. match if it does happen. Wouldn't have to play that today. Excuse me, today. That may be a hard loss to overcome if that's the case here in round 2.
Lots of contests going on right now. The latest couple of victories, Mieszko Fortunski, 9-4 over Tom Staveley, and Wu Kunlin defeating Talal Al-Balushi 9-5. Miguel Silva, 7-5 over Thomas Kaplan. Chris Alexander and Dimitris Lukatos have just started out on table 3. The first couple of racks have been shared. Fedor Gorsht pulling a rack back on table 2 against Yuri Pisklov. It's now 4-2 to the German. Radislav Babica 6-2 up on Khalid Al-Ghamdi. And David Zalman is 6-all with Dennis Graber in a really tight affair. You see they're ready to start on table 26. An all-USA affair. Mark Vidal Claremont against Shane Van Boning. Limited American involvement today so far, Jeremy, but when the Americans have played, it's been favourable for them.
Well, like you said earlier, you like Shane, or that was one of your picks. I like him as well. He's really been putting forth all kinds of efforts on and off the table to be prepared for the rest of this year. And I know he's not looking past this European Open, but he's going to be a threat, I think, in Atlantic City this year as well. Looking for that 6th green jacket.
Yeah, by the way, we were talking about Niels Fine being elected to the Hall of Fame. And I noticed that you were on the ballot also, Jeremy.
Oh, was I? I didn't know that. I know I've been on there a few times before. That was nice of the Hall of Fame people. But a very deserving Niels fan, and really that U.S. Open is the only thing he's trying to still get now that he has that Hall of Fame bid as well.
This is table 2. Pisklov trying to place Gorsht in trouble. Nothing's come easy for the Russian today. Nothing at all.
Fedor Gorsht, who is probably the best with the short cue. Not really entertaining the jump shot here at all. Maybe that tells me he has a little piece of the 3, maybe looking at a swerve shot.
Don't forget you can see all of the table 2 action on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel. Now they're both players back in the arena. Can Roman Hybler finish this off, or breaking off, can Johann Chau take it hill-hill?
Well, of course, we talk about fortunate kisses, and a lot of kisses with this break the way it is now. But that one here, you can see on the overhead, it looks like the cue ball is going right off in that side pocket on the bottom of your screen. The brown 7 saved it. It's got a nice shot on the 2, but not a whole lot going on the red 3. Maybe a cross side bank if he can draw the cue ball into position. Excuse me.
Yeah, some of his banking at the World Cup of Pool was right out of the top draw. Different circumstance though, different table.
Yeah, this is what I'd look at, the 3-6 combo, I think. Kind of overlooked it after the break. I think it's straight enough also to where if you make it, I think the 3 holds up to where it would still pass the pink 4. He tried to play short side, and What a shot, and that's a nervy shot there, because you could easily lose the cue ball an inch or two and end up behind the green 6 and maybe make it foolproof for Roman to not have any trouble trying to get out and snap this match off. Tester here, though, with the awkward cueing, Phil.
Yeah, making contact with the green 6 can't be entirely discounted. It's so awkward. Made it look preposterously easy.
Wow, to be able to pull the trigger with that much speed, with that awkward cueing, most players would be trying to roll that ball, just trying to do their best to be accurate, and especially trailing 8-7. What a shot. Federer, of course, jump banked that 3-ball in that he was snookered on. So maybe starting to get things going over there. All right, he's got to pay attention to this. Got to work the rock a little bit, not a whole lot. Can he just roll it and hold for the 5? Well, this may end up on top a little bit. That's all right.
What a fighter. And the shots are now coming out when they simply have to.
Really smart shot for a couple reasons, coming into a narrow window. He never hit it hard enough to scratch in that side. That's a good reason. Look at here, going to do a little tip work, having to draw the cue ball from a close proximity. We remember what happened early in the match with that miscue.
It really does look as though, from almost certain defeat, Johann Chau is going to make it hill.
And instantly become a little favorite, seeing as how he'll be breaking the balls in the case game.
It really is amazing how the greats of the game have that knack of being able to stay in a contest. Who would have thought this maybe half an hour ago? Johann Chau and Roman Hybler, 8 racks each. And as Jeremy so rightly said, Chua a big favourite for 2 reasons. He's got sustained momentum and also he's got the break. Plus, I suppose, a third reason, Hebler, having been on the verge of victory and been guilty of mistakes, he will be feeling not too clever right now. Still, though, got the opportunity for redemption. All about this 17th and final rack, but you have to make Chua a big favourite to progress.
Yeah, I think, Roman, who's played a great match, that's one thing, but I think the only real thing working against Chua here is the table's been difficult on the break here so far in day 1, and we'll see, but you kind of expect him, at Hill, we rarely ever see breaking runs. Just for some reason or another, it just does not happen that often. But I kind of feel like he's going to get a shot here, and we'll see if he can get that shot and continue to get out behind it. One's down.
Yeah, 2's in the open, but 3, that could pose a problem.
Yeah, and I think the 8's really posing some problems as well. He may not even shoot at this 2 ball. May bang the 2 around trying to use the 8, put the 2 near the 3 for something in the future. I'll tell you, can he get by the 8? Can he draw the ball 1 rail by the 8 up for the cross side bank? Get up near the head string with the cue ball. It's not terrible.
We saw in the World Cup when he can attack, he will do. But even with that approach, you can never say he's reckless.
No, I mean, you know, when you have certain abilities, you just calculate a little different than most of the rest of the field. You know, the percentages change for you because of the things you can do, and really see it in every sport. They call it kind of opening up the playbook. And, you know, like football, for instance, American football, when you have certain talents, well, the playbook gets opened up a little bit more, and it's very just that it does. All right. Like I said, does he try and go around the 8? It's a little dangerous. If he catches the 8, could slide up behind the purple or the pink. He wants to do anything but play safe on this blue, too. Anything but play safe. I think that's what we may end up seeing him do, though. To me, that was a very dangerous play. Could have easily got stuck behind the ball, that being the pink, or even really lost the cue ball at that speed. Is he going to take on this combo? So he's floating this and just trying to bump the 3 as the cue ball goes towards the top rail off the right side of the 3.
Played the drag shot, and it's worked out okay. The 7 intervening.
Well, it's worked out very nice. If he can't get behind this 7, he's going to have issues, not only hitting this ball, but could have issues trying to get at the next kick shot. There's a lot of problems here for Roman, and got to watch out for a 3-foul situation here with this first one. Gets put on 1 foul and does not open up. I would move the pink, I think. I know that sounds crazy, but you want to open up some kick alleys here.
The thing is, Jeremy, the 3-foul rule doesn't come into play very often, does it? In deciding racks, it's extremely rare.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he could move the 6 as well. That's another future ball that could be a problem if he surrenders ball in hand on a first foul. And that's what he's looking at now, is how good of a safety is he going to be able to play behind the 6, and that's an issue. I'd move the pink or the 6, yeah. I think he's leaning in the right direction.
The only thing we can say for sure is that this has been the best match we've seen today by a country mile.
Do y'all say country mile in the UK? Is that a real deal?
Oh, yeah, we do, yeah.
Okay, good. Thought that was an American thing. All right, he's moving the 6, looking for that, or worried about that future snooker. Don't know if I would have necessarily knocked it in, but can't say that's really a mistake by any means. Now he's going to edge this and run the cue ball. I think anyways. Maybe he just has to kind of bump it and come downward. I thought he may run the cue ball a couple rails behind the 5-8. Yeah, look where he pointed the cue there. That way he could send the 3 into the rail and then have the 7 kind of hold the 3 in position there. Not only will Roman have to make a good hit on the red 3, but now the 3 would be open. So if he didn't hit the 3, Johann would have a choice. Do I go for the 3rd foul or do I go to clear the table? And how the match can change, you know, after a couple mistakes not getting out to close. Now at Hill, Hebler, he can't even attempt the kick shot. He has to kind of tactically knock away another ball, and something you don't see very often. Okay. He's left a bit more of a kick than I thought he had to, but one that Roman should definitely take on, going to the right side of the table. I don't think he can go between the 8-7 to the top rail. I think he's got to come across from the right side of the table. We'll see. Well, he can. The way he's looking at this 8-5, that tells me he can go between the 7-8 to the top cushion where he's standing and get at the 3 with some speed. So he's going to try and create a little luck. I don't think any reason to kick softly. Maybe.
These are the kind of matches we love and the kind of deciding racks we love.
Yeah, Federer still trails by 2 games at 5-3. Yuri Pisklov, is it?
It is. No mug.
Again, you have a little bit of a choice here. You could kick softly trying to lay on the 3, but not the easiest of angles, and you have some action trying to get lucky here. And he didn't catch those balls like he wanted. He wants this 3 to dress up on top of the cue ball, and it has somewhat, but I think it is playable.
From Chua's demeanour, it's a case of, in his mind, anywhere but there.
Yeah, and if he shoots in this direction, that tells me it's not playable. So this may have gotten very difficult here. He may have to push this past the side and try and come across by the 8. Or is he kicking this? Trying to get behind the 7. Watch out for the top left corner with the cue ball. He caught it thin, so Roman's going to get a chance.
Horrible shot, though, under intense pressure. And also with the cue ball under that top rail.
Yeah, and I can't quite tell, of course, can he avoid the 9? I think if he hits it, you know, with a good stroke, about medium speed, plays it to the somewhat center of the pocket, I think he gets by the 9, comes up table.
Well, that was a cracking pot, given the scenario.
Yeah, that was center cut, and I'll tell you, again, we have a few different looks that y'all don't have, but the overhead tells me that this is very tight going by the purple 5 in the side. No gimme. Not a problem. Okay, remember the 2 times he had a chance, he got through the tough part of the racks and then had a couple of fumbles late in each of those racks to win this match. Oh my, he's covered up the pocket.
In the 13th rack, the 7 ball was missed. In the 14th, he missed the 8 ball completely. This time, 7 and 8 have combined to prevent the run out.
Yeah, and that's just maybe recognizing what was going to happen on the shot. He could have played it with less speed, not trying to get so good on the 7. Just work the cue ball off the 7 to the 8 with a little bit of spin maybe. But can he kill this behind the 8? I think this is very touchy.
Big decision and a big win for Thomas Kaplan over Miguel Silva. The pole winning 9-7.
Looks like he can get it to the top rail, maybe with a little left English here and hold behind the 8. It's the type of shot could look real bad if it goes wrong, though. May not get a rail, could sail straight out. Definitely going to leave a kick of some sort. He's got to be satisfied there.
But we know Chua's propensity for big moment magic.
Yeah, and he's got a 2-rail kick. That would be, you know, if it's early in the match, you don't try to kick this ball in. You kick 2 rails behind it, trying to knock it down here by the 9 and put the cue ball behind the 8 where he's laid his cue. But, you know, at 8-8, you couldn't argue if you went across the table trying to kick this ball in that upper left-hand corner. This is the percentage play, the one he's looking at now. Should be a high ball here. Full contact should hold the cue ball up the table.
Again, the long game of Roman Hybler will be fully examined. He passed the test on that lengthy 3 ball.
Yeah, it was probably the best stroke of the day that I've seen from anyone coming off the end rail in such a pressure moment. Timing was perfect, steady, no movement. Yeah, a lot choppier there, Phil. A lot quicker with the stroke, and it showed.
Yeah, and you can trace his problems back to when he missed the 7 from short range on the verge of winning 9-4. If he is defeated, this will really sting.
Yeah, and I don't know if this easily goes by the 9 in the corner. The 7-9 kiss shot may be playable, but I think this is a little tight. Like, he's got to use the rail. Can't just use the entire pocket to pocket the 7. And again, on table 2, the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel, Just been little things here and there for Fedor Gorst, and now looks like he's going to trail by 3 games at 6-3.
The 7 is coaxed in. Roman Hybler fearing the worst.
And he's got the stroke to draw the ball to the right or follow it 2 rails to the left. Just a little preference.
There is no such thing as an easy defeat to take. This one will be hugely difficult for Hebler to take, because he had victory in his pocket. It looked like being a Roman conquest. In the end, though, Roman was conquered. Who would have thought it? Mistakes at the end cost him dear. From 8-4 down, Johann Chau somehow, don't ask me how, wins by 9 racks to 8. He remains on the winner's side. Roman Hybler goes again on the 1-loss side. After that, though, he must feel utterly demoralised. So another match coming your way now on table 1 in around 5 or 6 minutes' time, and it really is one to savour.